some places where we played, the audience is a lot bigger than than on previous tours. So it's a bit up and down. But why Audrey Horne is not more a bigger band? It's there's so many good bands out there. So we are in competition with a lot of really really good bands, and also we tour like we've done a lot of tours on the Youngblood album, but if we had the possibility to tour more than we do now, we would probably be a bigger band. So it's like these days, with record sales being so low, the only way to really become big is you either need a good hype or you need to play live as much as possible, basically. Yeah, we always do on Facebook and on Instagram, and we probably should have more like social platforms, but we're not very good with it. But the ones that we have, we are pretty good with it. And I think it's cool to put out, like, post every night how the show was, and because it sort of tells everyone who wasn't there a little bit about how it was, and the social media has become so important for as a promoting tool, basically. So it's always good to put things out there, not just necessarily about the shows, but it can be like whatever funny thing that happens on tour or things you see that you find it interesting. It's cool, and it's also a way of staying in touch with your audience, because we do all of that ourselves. So when people have questions, they ask us that, and we can answer them, and they send us pictures of that they have taken, and if they're good pictures, we can use them. Of course, we all have our opinions, but we don't preach politics a lot in our lyrics. Or as a band in general. Some songs have issues of things that I think is important to say, like Holy Roller, for instance, which is sort of about the fact that people don't have, a lot of people don't acknowledge or have respect for people who are homosexuals, which is, to me, totally impossible to understand, because it's not like they chose it. It's a normal thing. Some people are born that way, and why would you have anything against that? So sometimes I take a subject because I think it should be mentioned, But in general, they're more rock and roll lyrics, because we play rock and roll, and I don't believe in trying to be Bono. Norway is a very good country because, I think we have a pretty good moral. I think it's a pretty fair country to live in, where if you don't have a job or if you're sick or whatever, you will be taken care of, But Norway is sometimes a bit like the whole Big Brother thing can be. Not the Big Brother, but the moralism can be a bit too hard, like banning things that are bad for you. I mean, it's a choice. You do it if you want to. I am aware of the fact that drinking is not the healthiest thing to do, but if I choose to do it, you have to let people have a sort of take responsibility for their own actions, and not just ban it and say you can't do this. So in that way, Norway is a bit fucked up, but in general, it's a nice country. The last 5 years has been so much more fun for us, and the reason we didn't decide to change direction. It was just that we decided to write music in a different way. So so basically. That led to the music being more positive, and when we had so much fun, we started writing new material straight away. So that way, a new album came out a lot quicker. And when we come home from this tour, we're going to start writing new material. So I'm not saying this going to be next album is going to be as quickly released as this one, but we will. We're just going to write and see when we feel ready to go into studio. And it's more positive also because when you're younger, you care so much more about what people say and think. As you get older, you don't give a fuck anymore. You go like, I enjoyed. I enjoy doing this. I want to do this. And if someone says that no, this is not a cool thing to do, then we're like, well, fuck you. This is what we do. It's. We always try to evolve, but we never change in order to change. But we always try to challenge ourselves. Like when we did Youngblood, we said that, okay, let's try to make an album that has more of the raw live energy. And then when we did Pure Heavy, we were like, let's make an album that has a bigger production. And so on this next album, I don't know, what we talked about a lot recently is that, to try to be a bit braver and try to continue down the road that we're on now, which is like the classic hard rock style, but maybe try to challenge that a bit. But you always have an idea of what you want to do, of course. And personally, I like to do something that is maybe a bit different, because I think that Youngblood and Pure Heavy are somehow like brothers. They're linked. So I think we don't need a third brother. We need a sister now, if you know what I mean. You need something that is sort of the same, but a bit different in a way. But Bergen is, of course, most famous for black metal because that's the genre that sort of had more success outside of Norway. But it's not a black metal city, so to speak. There's a lot of really good bands that play black metal there, but there's shitloads of good rock bands and hard rock bands and pop bands and country bands and jazz bands, whatever, It's a very diverse city. On my iPhone, not a lot of metal music on my iPhone. I have some, I like the new Machine Head album. I like the new Slayer single, Implode. I like Mastodon, what they're doing now. I love Kvelertak from Norway. I think they're one of the best hard rock bands around these days. But like on this tour, in the bus, we haven't listened to a lot of. We listened to like old Kiss, Thin Lizzy, Van Halen, stuff like that. But like I think the two bands that sort of been the theme bands that we've been listening a lot to is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Wings with Paul McCartney. So that's like the two bands. Like we've sort of named the Band on the Run with Wings as the theme song of the tour because we played it every day, and to a point where like some people are like, "Gee, really? Do we have to listen to this again?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's a great fucking song, and it's our tour song, man. Put it on." So we'll see in the next album if maybe it will be more inspired by. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Peace out.